All right, and we are live. So the S&P 500 last week hit fresh record highs, and now last week we finished our third straight winning week for the Dow and the Nasdaq. But what's next? I mean, we had the jobs report, crushed expectations. The markets are now pricing in 89% probability of a rate cut. But this week we have important data coming out, and we'll take a look at this. We also have some news from China that is affecting Nvidia. So as you can see, lots to talk about. And with that said, welcome to Coffee with Markus and Mark. And today is Monday, December 9th. And in this show, we are going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. And boy, Mark, last week, another winning week. We should probably switch over to a weekly chart. Look at this, just up, up, and away.
Yeah, the S&P and Nasdaq able to close higher on Friday and just continuing that march up, making records. The Dow down a little bit on Friday, but just kind of hanging in there. And yeah, there you go. You see that a little bit of a pullback there, and setting up the week with inflation data in the spotlight.
Inflation data, exactly. Looking at the economic calendar first, we see that not a whole lot going on this week and next week, but this week, today and tomorrow. That's what I wanted to say. Uh, why is this happening here? I don't know. My iPad did an update and now everything is messed up. I gotta see if I can minimize this. Auto minimize. There we go. Bye bye. Okay. So let me also switch back to green and to a nice big one. This is where we see, okay, core CPI and CPI being released on Wednesday, PPI being released on Thursday. Now, this will be important this week.
Yes. So the Fed in their blackout period ahead of next week's 2-day policy meeting. And we know that this is the last real key data that the Fed will have to digest. And you see there that with CPI, an uptick is expected.
Yeah, and I mean, this is where we have an uptick. So expected is that months over months, we are coming in a little bit hotter than the previous months, where we were here coming in at 0.2% increase. For November, it is a 0.3% increase. This means that the CPI is ticking up from 2.6 to 2.7%. Now, as long as we're within expectations, I think we will be fine. But if we see a reading of 2.8 or above, this is where we might actually see some shockwaves going through the market.
Yeah, we'll see. But interesting to see inflation creeping up just a little bit. Strong jobs report on Friday, but not strong, not so strong that it changed investors' opinions on what the Fed might do at the meeting. Right now, the probability of a cut, as you just have shown, Mark, is 89%.
Yeah, however, the challenge here is if we look over of what's ahead, and if you look at those probabilities, we see that, oh, it's looking grim. I mean, after this cut, I mean, it seems that traders are expecting that there's no more cuts in the January meeting. And also for next year, that we might only see 2 or 3 cuts next year, which means higher for longer.
That's what the probabilities show. And then the question is, higher for longer, is that enough to put a dent in the optimism, the economic optimism of a new administration that is focused potentially on growth? And that's what we'll have to see.
We will have to see. Okay, so this is where, I mean, what's I talk about today? We got some good news from China. So if you look at the HSI, and I don't know why now my keyboard is not working. There's just so much going on with my iPad this morning after this update. Let me see if I can reconnect the keyboard that I can actually switch over. I can't. So right now I cannot switch over to the HSI. Let's just see if I can bring up this keyboard. Oh dear Lord, this will be really, really painful if we keep doing this. But the Hang Seng Index today, look at this, up 2.8% after news out of China.
Yeah, so a little bit of a jump after China announces more stimulus.
Yeah. So in this, we're also, if you look at today, what's happening on the heat map? Well, we see that overall, not bad, a little bit mixed. And Nvidia, a clear loser today, down 3.5%. Also after news from China.
Yeah, so Chinese regulators or a Chinese regulator said that Nvidia is being investigated for potential violations of anti-monopoly law.
There we go. And right now, Nvidia down 3.3% and dragging down some of the other semiconductors. However, as we see also, Qualcomm nicely up and also MU, but AMD down, Broadcom down, Nvidia down, Marvel down. Few seem actually to benefit from this, where it says, okay, well, if Nvidia is getting hit, that might help some of the other manufacturers.
Yeah, could be. So a little bit of a mixed bag there. Now, I also know AMD had a downgrade, so that could be part of the drop there for AMD, but definitely not a drop across the board with semis.
Yeah. All right. What else is going on? Well, over the weekend, go figure. Bitcoin over the weekend trading above 100,000 again. Today, pulling back down 3.5%.
Maybe a little bit of profit taking there or some interest elsewhere, but yeah, not hanging on to the 100,000 level. And cryptos across the board seem to be down today.
Yeah, and it's really unknown news. The question right now is for Bitcoin. Okay, the 100,000 level, the 100K level, is this support or is this resistance? Right now, it seems to be resistance. So can we break above and then that it acts as support and take Bitcoin up and away? Right now, it seems that it's acting more as resistance than support for the next move.
Looks like it.
All right. So let's talk about our trades. Or actually, you know what? I wanted to hop over on the stock screener really quick and wanted to look at the percent day gainers. No surprise, Pinduoduo, a Chinese company, today skyrocketing on these news. But look at this. Hershey's, the top mover today. Hershey's up what, 12.4% on I haven't seen
Wow.
any news that would warrant this move right now.
I have news.
Yes.
So Mondelez, there was a report that they are potentially entertaining another buyout of Hershey's. I think this happened before, but it has to be approved by Hershey shareholders, and that's contributing to it.
Wait a minute. A buyout? They're buying Hershey's? Hershey's right now has a market cap of $35 billion. Who the heck is the company who says, oh, yeah, you know what? I'm just spending $35 billion and go on a shopping spree?
One that has $82 billion in market cap.
That's not too much. I mean, that's not too much. I mean, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
they're
Like,
the owner of Cadbury's and Toblerone. So
well,
we'll see.
I know that this will not be an all cash deal. So probably not doing that. All right. Let's hop over and let's see what we are trading right now. And first up on the WTF analyzer, we do have an open position from last week, which is ODP. Zooming in here a little bit, we see that ODP to up today up 0.75% and trading right around our entry price. So last week we entered around 204.77. Right now trading at 204.51. So nothing for us to do, but this is exactly what we are looking for, right? I mean, we have a drop. This is where we WTF win the fear and now moving higher, and that's exactly what we are looking for.
And Marcus, just to clarify, that ticker was ODFL.
And what did I say?
ODP.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Oh, to 4.
Old Dominion Freight Line. Okay. Well, let's talk about the news signals because this were also made a mistake this morning when we announced to our mastermind members that we are taking BKR, which is Baker Hughes, and I said we're taking BRK, which is Berkshire Hathaway. And yes, no, we're not. We did not trade this, but we did trade BKR, and I mean, so far it's looking good. We entered around.
Yeah.
41, 46. That's where we had the entry signal right now, trading at 42. So nicely up for the day. This is behaving also very similar to what we want to see.
Yeah. Little pop there, looking good.
All right, and then we have Fast. So Fast looking a little bit different here. So Fast also a signal that both you and I took. And Fast initially moving lower. So we entered at 81.45 right now, trading approximately $1.40 lower. Seems to have found a bottom and some support at around the 80 level. And let's see if now we can bounce back. Our stop loss at 77.21. So let's see what's happening with Fast.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the first reaction, but I think a good signal finding some. Looks like we might be finding some support at the lows that we had on that gap. So
Yep. All right. So these are the new signals that we have today. And then hopping over to the wheel, we do have a few positions going on here in the wheel. And first up, CSIQ. CSIQ is just on fire today. I mean, right now up 11%, earlier up as much as 13%. Do you believe that this is connected to the Chinese stimulus? Because I also saw that Enphase today is up. Where are we? 9%. Let's see what FSLR does. If this is across the solar industry, FSLR also up 5%. So maybe solar stocks today getting a little bit of love.
maybe interesting because I mean it is across the board, and yes, with CSIQ, headquartered in uh, Canada, but really a lot of you know the manufacturing everything out of China. But then with it being across the board, it looks like maybe people are just buying some uh, solar.
Yeah. I mean,
I
and
mean,
we
it's
talked about
it,
it yesterday, last week. So we had the earnings report, and the earnings report came out worse than expected. This is why it is red here, right? And so initially we had the drop, and both you and I, we said, okay, let's see where we are on Friday. Can we close above the 12 level? Because if so, the 12 level will act as support. Otherwise, we might be diddling here below the 11 and 12 level for a while. And sure enough, on Friday, we closed at 1201. I mean, saved by the bell. And then this morning, there seems to be some buying optimism. I mean, right now, trading at 1333 as high as where were we this morning? 1361. So let's see what happens here if we now have the bounce back and if we can finally move higher. Or if this is just a flash in the pan, we'll see more tomorrow.
yeah, and I mean, again, we could try to come up with a reason here, but the bottom line is, I see this as very positive because the best case scenario is you have that earnings report and then it just takes off and it reports something that catches investors by surprise and everybody's loving it. Well, that wasn't necessarily the case, but the next best scenario is where there's some stability, right? Rather than just a free fall. And here we do see some stability and some buying. I'll take that.
Yeah. All right, another stock that you're in, BP, also seeing some love this morning. So BP up 6% this morning, a huge jump for BP.
Yeah, I'm loving this. Keeping an eye on it. I would need to see it rally a little bit more to sell calls, but breaking through that upper range, just a lot of trading there. I know we had that dip in mid-November, but aside from that little dip, we were just kind of stuck in this range now, breaking to the upside, and this is what I've been waiting for.
Nice. And then we have HAL after last week, which was a rough week for HAL. Today also showing some happiness signs, up 2% for today. Seems that we have found some support right here at the 29-ish level, because that's where we closed around on Friday. And we'll see. My break even at 31.79. So right now trading at 29.35. Come on, HAL, just keep moving higher. We're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, tough week. I saw that UBS downgraded Halliburton, but even with that downgrade, the average target for analysts is 37.87. So I'll take
Yeah,
that.
I'll take that. That's all we need. That's all we need. Okay. KSS Colts. Oh gosh. So Colts, this is where I flew a rescue mission 2 weeks ago, got only partially assigned. Therefore, I was able to lower my cost basis to 1985. I tried it again last week. So last week I sold some more 15 put. I did not get assigned. It expired worthless. And this morning, trying it again to sell some more puts and getting assigned at 15 with the goal of lowering my cost basis to 1880 and therefore lowering my break even to probably somewhere around here, around 17. And this week, we also have a dividend payment of 50 cents for Colts.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. For me, this will be a little bit more of a $6,000, and I'll take that. All right, next up, Merck. Merck also today having a great day. I mean, for Merck being up 1.8%, that is fantastic. And I think we
Yeah.
talked about this. So for Merck, 103 acted as resistance, right? So we banged our head against the ceiling here for a little bit. Right now, decisively trading above it, and we know that previous resistance becomes support. So now continue this V-shaped recovery here. Kind of liking this.
Hey, I'm not in this one, but loving that move. Looks like a nice V.
For sure. And then UPS. UPS moving lower, and this is where we have been considering a rescue mission at 125. And we looked at it on Friday. We looked at it this morning because our goal here is to lower our cost basis in the 140s, somewhere around there. Because as you can see, it's a little bit easier for UPS to move up there than to my current cost basis of 157.50. And this morning, UPS higher, loving this move on the one hand. On the other hand, I would have loved to be able to sell some more puts. And so far, on an up day, not getting the premium that we are looking for.
Yeah, this UPS, a good company, but these ranges are killing me. And I like the idea of the rescue, and I don't think that we've missed it. But of course, when we're committed to it and it's just taken off the other way, that's never fun.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, we're not sad that UPS is moving higher. So, I mean, overall, we like
Exactly,
that idea.
exactly.
All right. Finally, we should bring up ON. ON, you traded it last week. You sold the 64 strike price last week, and
Yep.
it expired worthless.
It expired worthless, and I was looking to trade ON again this morning. There was some really nice premium at the open, and this thing just took off. So pulling away from the highs that we had, but gosh, at the open there was some really nice premium at that 64 level, and maybe it's another opportunity this week. But with it rallying, I didn't want to chase it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hop over and see what the overall markets are doing because it seems that right now we are moving lower. Let's see if we are trading at session lows or if we have found a bottom. But before we do this, we have our dad joke contest. So we have our contest of who tells the better dad joke. Let's see. Mark, what do you have for us today?
Marcus,
Yes.
do you know why you should never play poker at the zoo?
No.
Too many cheetahs.
Okay. Okay, I can see that. Uh, so I'm going more with a Christmas theme here. So what do you call a kid who doesn't believe in Santa?
What?
That would be a rebel without a clause.
Nah, that's pretty good. That-
Yeah,
That's
okay.
pretty good.
Okay. So let's see what's happening in the markets and look at this. The S&P sliding seem to have found some support right at 60.55. The Nasdaq also sliding, finding some support just in the last few minutes, turning around. And the Dow is still trading towards session lows, but it seems that overall the markets right now are stopping their kind of free fall that we saw this morning. I mean, it's not a massive move that we see here, but we're moving from what, around 60.90 to 60.55. So let's see. What do you think will happen for the remainder of the day?
I think that the dip was a little overdone, and we'll probably just drift. I don't think we're really going to find direction today, but I could see us drifting back up.
Yeah, I think the big one is really on Wednesday when we see the CPI data. Until then, markets will probably just diddle along, maybe a little bit of pulling back from the record highs that they have been making. And it will be an important week, I believe so. All right. You don't
Yeah.
want to miss it. We'll be back here tomorrow morning. And if you like the show, give us a like. Really appreciate it. Feel free to share this video with others who might find this helpful. And after the show, let us know in the comment of who told the better dad joke today. With that said, have a great rest of the day. And we'll see you again tomorrow morning.
Happy trading, everybody.